Good afternoon, everybody. It's a privilege to introduce Daisy Chesang, who is the Senior Associate at Global Development Incubator in Nairobi, Kenya. Daisy drives innovation strategies with a focus on a human-centered approach to problem solving. She currently leads an initiative with GOYN that seeks to create youth employment, policy, capacity development, and investment opportunities for the creative youths in Mombasa. She specially requested some more energy, so please put your hands together for Daisy.
Hello, good afternoon. I thought we ate lunch. Good afternoon. Good. I need to bring the energy back. Thank you so much for joining our session today. Please, if you are seated on the far end, come closer. We are talking about finances. I think this is something you want to hear. For the discussion today, we want to understand how does financial inclusion connect to youth economic opportunity. From the previous panels, we've had discussion about livelihood, about placement. But as a young person, you have your finances. How are you managing it? And if you are, where are you taking your finances? Are you saving? Are you getting credit? Are you putting aside to buy a motorcycle? Are you putting aside to cover your business? A lot of young people are outside there showcasing amazing innovations. However, how are they investing in those businesses themselves? So our panel discussion today will be focusing on that. And before we start, and I introduce our amazing panelists, I have a question for the room. There's a gift, right? Yes, she's confirmed. There's a gift. I have a question to the young people. If you are a young person in the room, please, by show of hands, let me see you. I know you are young. Please put your hand up. It's okay. We are all young. So I want to pick the lady seated at the middle. Stand, please. Yes. Yes, you're looking back. Yes, you. Yes. I have a question for you. You're lucky. You have a gift today. As a young person, have you ever had a challenge accessing any form of financial service? Either getting credit, getting loan, even getting insurance. How has it been for you? Oh, just a minute. I think the mic is coming. Thank you.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes I get really confused, like how should I save money or which should I take, like credit card or debit card?
Is this the point where I ask you how much you've saved?
Very less.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your name? Sorry?
Smita Deepak Kumar,
From?
Odisha.
Orissa. Oh, young people from Orissa are asking about savings.
Yes.
So today you will hear about it. There are young people all the way from Tanzania doing it in a very interesting way. So please do sit and hear from them.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Great. So I'll quickly do a presentation. I don't want to spend so much time on that. I can have the presentation up. We want to talk about youth financial inclusion. But what exactly is youth financial inclusion? Where do we start? We keep on saying young people are actually looking for these answers. How do they save? How do they increase their insurance? How do they increase their credit? How do they even come together as young people and save? And this year, the beginning of this year, in partnership with our partners from Prudential Financial Inc., we were able to do an extensive research. And this is the first time that we are actually sharing this research. So everyone in this room, this is the first time you're getting to see some of the beautiful interventions across all the GOYN communities. We can go to next. So before I unleash this beautiful study, we'll quickly go through this. We'll have a quick introduction, and we'll introduce our speakers for the day. So if I take a bit of time, this is where we are. And then we'll have Q&A. We'll take more time here. So please, as the session is going on, write your questions for the anchor partners, for the community, for the funders in the room, and also for the young people. And then finally, we'll end it out in the next 60 minutes. Financial inclusion, like I mentioned before, we did a very beautiful study. We'll be sharing this across all communities, so do not worry. You get to have an in-depth of the presentation. We were able to do this study, through one-on-one discussion with anchor partners across all GOYN communities. So as you seated here, do know that your community did have an interaction with us. We got to understand from the young people directly through our focus group discussion, and we did interview a couple of financial experts. But why were we doing this? Our objective is to link livelihood and financial inclusion. At what point do they connect? Do they affect each other? We want to hear it today from our panelists. How do we better document some of the initiatives? Our communities will be sharing that during our panel. And finally, how do we use this information to actually make better future intervention design and actually facilitate learning? As we go ahead, we were able to develop some of the framework. And we ask ourselves, we hear about youth financial inclusion. What does it mean? For GOYN, it refers to the widespread, meaningful and appropriate usage of financial services. And you ask yourself, why does it matter? Why does financial inclusion matter? When you have appropriate financial services, as a young person, you are able to start a business, either through credit or saving. You are able to manage your own finances. You're also able to invest in the future. If you keep on saving, you can put money aside and invest in your future. I know you want to buy a motorbike for your business. This is where you start. And you can actually build financial resilience. I don't know if this is a culture, but so many times when we have job loss, we have illness in the family, we go around and ask, could you contribute this amount of money towards my auntie, my grandma? How do we prepare you for that? And next, what builds a youth financial inclusion? Where do you start? We had a look at 4 services. There are a lot of services, but for the young people, we really focus on these 4. We look at payment service. A lot of us have bank accounts, you have digital payment platform and so forth. We're looking at your savings, how you're saving and so forth. We look at your credit. Do you borrow from Shylock? Do you tell your friends, I'll give you my motorbike in exchange for this amount of money? We want to see that. Insurance, are you taking it for your business? Are you taking it for your health and so forth, and even for your education? Then we're saying, what exactly is the building block of youth financial inclusion? We look at agency. How comfortable are you to make a decision about if this is a good decision for me as a young person financially to save, or where do I put it? How confident are you to do that? Financial capability. Are you able to quickly understand a service like insurance, a service like credit? Access. Can you walk outside here and quickly get a credit facility or a credit service or a saving service? How easily accessible is it for you? Usage. How frequent do you use it? Once a month, once a year, never? Quality and appropriateness. For a young person, there are some services that I've heard of, but I've never used. Why is that? We want to hear from you. And with that, we believe this is the framework towards achieving youth economic opportunity. However, as we speak to young people across all the GOYN communities, there are a lot of challenges. And you will get to see from one amazing young person from Gulbarga who's going to speak about their challenges. However, on a global level, these are the 7 we are continuously seeing. We are seeing lack of access to formal financial services. You will see some of the young people from the community are putting money in a physical box and locking it. So we'll get to hear about that. Lack of funds. Not everyone is able to sustain their bank accounts or even open one. Cost of service. How frequent, when I withdraw money from the bank or so forth, it charges me an amount. Do I even have it? Family influence. I have to ask my mom. I have to ask my dad. I have to ask my auntie before I make this decision. lack of trust. Some young people are looking at this, I've had my money taken from my account, I never knew about it, I don't trust the bank, I don't trust formal services, and I also do not trust the process as a whole. And then we're seeing barriers to access. In some communities, it's very difficult for you to do back and forth to either of the formal services like a bank. So you need to save up for transport to actually go to the bank. How easy is it for you to access service? And 7, perceived irrelevance. There's some services young people are just saying, we actually don't think we need this. So we'll hear from them today. And as we conclude, before I introduce our amazing panel, we were able to capture very amazing takeaways. And from this is where we will open our discussion. As we speak to young people, there is a growing financial agency. They are continuing to believe themselves. They're talking more about money, but that is where it ends. We want to go even further. And how does the policy within the different environment affect them? There are different policies in different communities that are making it either easier or hard for young people to access some of the service. There are limited correlation. When you look at access and usage, not the same. As I've mentioned on the next point. Payment service is very common. Everyone is making payment. However, we're not seeing anything progressing beyond there. And across communities, savings is well understood, but there is a lot of room for growth in their usage by youth. We'll get to hear from different communities how they're implementing that. And finally, we call for localized intervention. What is happening in Pune is not what is happening in Tanga, is not what is happening in Mombasa, and it's not what is happening in Chess. So how do we provide intervention for the different communities? And now, I want us to welcome our panelists. We have listened to the amazing takeaways. I want to introduce them to take us through the discussion. I will start with the young person in the room. Please do give him energy. Please, I ask. This is Mahesh, Brige, all the way from Gulbarga, from Hedeld High. Mahesh, where are you? Yes. Mahesh represents the young people of Gulbarga as an economic resilience manager also at Hedeld High. He works with a farmer community to raise awareness about livelihood schemes, promote economic growth, equipping farmers to absorb and recover from shocks and stress in their agricultural production and livelihood. A round of applause for Mahesh. Please have a seat. Next, we have Kumar, Manjunath. Kumar, where are you? Great. Kumar is a postgraduate in development management, has over a decade of corporate experience, Future Group, he judged Global Solution, and he's also the Director of Operation at Hedeld High Foundation. I know you've also come with a big team here, Kumar. Thank you so much. Please, a round of applause for Kumar. Then we have Fatma Mwinjuma, all the way from Tanzania, joining us. Fatma is an influential leader in Tanga, so when you see her, you know young people in Tanga are logging in online. So round of applause for Fatma. She supports savings and credit pathway for Tanga City. And she's also a champion in innovative mindset training that equips young people with the essential skills for success. So all the young people in the room, you want to hear from Fatma and Mahesh. And last but not least, we have Sarah Kay. Sarah is here with us. Sarah is the Vice President of the Inclusion Solution at Prudential Financial, and also Vice President and Secretary of the Prudential Foundation. She leads strategic philanthropy and partnership to advance the company's purpose commitment to inclusive growth. Sarah will be speaking from a global perspective. So Sarah, we look forward to hearing all the initiatives that you've worked with and also recommendation for our communities that are here. Great. So without taking so much time, I want to hand over to Mahesh. Mahesh, the young people in the room are looking at you. They want to hear about how has it been facing challenges in accessing financial services. They also want to hear how did you overcome them? And are you now confident in making some of the choices when it comes to financial services? So Mahesh, over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, all. Okay, so myself, Mahesh, I belongs to Gulbarga community, anchor partner, Headed Life Foundation. Uh, Before Headed Life joining, I was not aware about any financial. I don't know how to about banking, about savings or anything. Even my education also they didn't told me. Because of my family financial crisis. I dropped my educations. Then I started working in my field. So there I struggled a lot. I don't know that about accounts. I don't know savings. Even I don't know how I can manage my life myself. So then later I heard about Heda Life Foundation. So I got to know that there I learned digital literacy, financial literacy. There I got that how to use a UPI payment mode and saving accounts. After crediting my salary, then only I know that this account and this cash I can withdraw from ATM. So this is my small introduction. So okay, so like me, many young people are don't aware about the bank and they don't get any financial supports and lot of institute in sectors. A lot of banks are there, lot of financial finance are there, but they'll not support. So the even SAG group also there. So this in education college also they'll not tell about that. How we can get the support from bank, how we can get the support from SAGs or any government. So they struggle a lot. Okay, so struggled youth lot. It's not back. Okay, so after getting the graduates also, many of them, they don't have the, in our community, many of them, they don't open the accounts and all. So there we created the awareness about banking, accounts, UPI payment mode, and many government schemes, how we can get the support from government to start up our business and stand up for society there, and also started the UPI payment node, UPI like online payment through. Now we are cashless transactions we have started, and in community also we are giving the awareness about that cashless transactions, how we can implement in our Gulbarga communities. That helps a lot keeping the securities and all. And also started the mutual fund like investment mutual fund, SIPs, systematic investment plans, and also we started the assets and liabilities, that one. Uh, Through this our program, so many youths got to know that accounts and investments, and they also got to know that about the first that we have to earn them. First we have to the earn, we have to track control our expenses, then we have to save, then we have to make our money double. That amount will be support to us when we don't know that how a disaster, how issues will enter in our life, how we can face in maybe the hospital, maybe the sudden incident, sudden problem comes in our life. So this all we can train to our use through our workshop every four days. So thank you so much for giving this opportunity, and our director, sir, Mr. Sir, our mentor, Kumar sir, supported lot, and I hand over to Kumar sir. Thank you.
Please, let's clap for Kumar. Thank you. Thank you so much. From the young people, you can hear it takes a journey to actually learn about finances. Sometimes we think it's very basic, but it is not. And would like to hear from Kumar from Heldai. Mahesh had to come all the way to the community, to the center, to learn about finances. As an anchor partner in the community, what initiative are you doing? I think the rest of the young people in the room want to hear. Can they come for this training? What is the training about? So over to you, Kumar, please.
This one. Okay. Hey, good afternoon. I understand after heavy lunch, I know how you would be feeling. So, so I promise that you don't be so long. No many jargons. I'll ensure that I'll complete in 4 slides, 5 minutes. So Mahesh just introduced himself. Mahesh was one of our OY. He joined us a couple of months back. Then I think you can see the transformation in Mahesh. Mahesh is now leading a group of about 20,000 plus. So he started his journey as OY. Now we can see some transformation over here. Yeah, some of the facts I have pulled in from one of the research program conducted by United Nations Capital Development Fund. So the major points that I could able to pull in from the study is that, so if you observe 2.5 billion youth across the globe, so which is more than half of the working population, today they are excluded from the financial inclusion. Right, when you go to the poorer section, this is further right, the penetration goes up to 80%. 80% of them are excluded from the financial inclusion. When we talk about the basic minimum requirement, which is a savings bank account, if you see the penetration, the continents like Africa has got 12% of the penetration. When it goes to the advanced countries, most advanced countries, it goes up to 50%. That means there is a gap. It's visible over there. Then coming back to the having a basic savings bank account, I mean this I witnessed during the ecosystem mapping as well. 33% of the youth are more likely compared to the adults are not having the bank accounts. So these are basic things. But when we come to the decision making, when you come to the financial inclusion, youth are completely excluded. So this is not just head-eyes observation in the communities, but the United Nations Capital Development Funds also talks about it. So what are the major barriers? So as I mentioned, we just finished the ecosystem mapping. We could able to make out 3 major barriers. The barriers are the lack of financial literacy in the school level. So in 2020, Government of India has come up with National Education Policy, NEP 2020. So there one of the component is to touch upon the financial literacy. However, the state governments are not promoting. So in India, we have about 800 plus courses, which has got master degree as well. But when it comes to financial inclusion, from the school level, we don't see many content or many push over there. Then the second barrier that we could see is the limited youth-centric the programs that we have. So I was interacting with one of the youth during my last visit to Raichur. He was mentioning, sir, I want to take up hotel management as one of my career opportunity. But however, I'm finding it difficult to get financing support. So then I reached out to State Bank of India. Can you do something, right? So, sir, hum dekhenge. Sir, we'll see. We'll see how do we support him. This guy struggled to meet the manager for first 3 months. 4th month, he came back saying that, sir, no, nothing much is moving. Then I reached out to the district administration saying, can you do something? Right? Similarly, as one of the outcome pillar in Raichur, we support young artisans. So one of the young girl I met, aged about 20 to 23, she has brilliant products. But unfortunately, to scale her program, she's struggling with the finances. And there's no much support. It is so complex that it's very difficult for them to meet the compliance requirement and get the credit facility. Like similarly, the third largest or the third main important barrier for the youth is about the limitation of tools. In India, we don't have much tools for the financial literacy. Recently, one of the survey the UNICEF has done, and they have come back saying that there are 4 or 5 programs. So these are the main 3 barriers we could see. And I say that if you don't tackle these barriers, we are going to leave behind the entire generation, which is untapped. So what is our approach? We did the convergence model. The aggregation is possible only through the government partnership. So we partnered with the district administration. So this partnership is helping us to reach out to 300,000 youth between Raichur and Gulbarga. So we reached out to them, we partnered with them for the aggregation support. Then we went back to UNICEF to partner with them for the brilliant content that they have come up. So as per the studies conducted by UNICEF, it says that any financial inclusion training programs completion rate across the globe is less than 22%. It is 2% in some of the most backward countries and 22% in some of the advanced countries. The reason behind this is the lack of awareness and also the promotion. There is no proper nudging to complete the program. UNICEF has come up with a brilliant program where they have addressed this. Through this program, we have the course completion percentage up to 68. So which has gone gone from 20 to 23 to 68% now. And then, as I was mentioning, so we have partnered with Rangde. Rangde is one of the largest social funding organization. We reached out to them. How do we support the youth in getting the access to credit? So with this approach, in last 4 months, we could able to support 4,651 youth between Raichur and Gulbarga, and 200 plus have received the credit support as well. So the mission is to support 300,000 youth over next 4 years. So what did we do? What do we do in the communities? We focus on these 4 aspects. Majorly the essentials of financial, what are the basic minimum requirement that is required to know. So when we see the content, all the contents were above 50 hours. So when we reached out to UNICEF, it was further customized and brought down to 10 plus hours, which focuses majorly on these 4 aspects, wherein financial planning is one of the most. When it comes to financial planning, we start with investing at the early age. If a person starting investing just 1,000 rupees for the initial 20 years, constantly, by the end of 20 years at the annual growth rate of 12%, he could able to save about 23 lakhs. So then we also, in the planning, we also introduce the finance, the insurance schemes that are available. We also take them through the various tax formats, tax-friendly insurance schemes and those stuffs. When it comes to the safety, between January to April this year, there are 740,000 cyber complaints have been registered in India. And people have lost about 1,750 crores just in the cyber crime. And this is, more than 50% have not even registered. If you go to the rural area, they don't register. Right? So we are bringing in awareness in them through the financial literacy program. And we are trying to save their hard-earned money. So these are some of the interventions that we are having. As I mentioned, the journey started about 4 months ago, and we are in a mission to support about 300,000 youth. So with this, I'll conclude my presentation. I don't think I exceeded my committed time. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kumar, for that amazing work being done in Raichur and Gulbarga. We are seeing a lot of awareness training sessions happening. Mahesh is here as a testament of that. We want to move all the way from one continent to another. We want to hear from Tanzania in Tanga in Tanzania, sorry. We want to see what Fatma and the amazing young people are doing when it comes to savings. From our study, we are seeing a lot of critical importance of how savings has helped young people start businesses. It has helped them survive economic shocks. For example, if someone is ill, they're able to contribute and so forth. So I want to welcome Fatma. I must say Fatma has an amazing story about how they're saving. This, for me, it's one of the stories I would really want to encourage young people here to hear how they're doing it. Also, Fatma will be speaking in Swahili, so you will allow me to translate in between. But please, Fatma, welcome. A round of applause for Fatma.
Hi everyone. Jina langu ni Fatma Mwinjuma na nitazungumzia ishu ya uhusishwaji katika masuala ya kifedha. Katika study ndogo ambayo ilifanywa na GOYN Tanga pamoja na National Bureau of Statistics ilionyesha kwamba vijana wa Tanga ni 155,097, lakini wanakutwa na tatizo kubwa la masuala ya uhusishwaji katika ishu za fedha. Na sisi kama GOYN tumekuwa na kama unavyoona pale, kuna changamoto, vijana wanakosa utambuzi wa masuala ya biashara pamoja na ujasiriamali. Lakini pia
Yes. Let me bring everyone before you continue. Just to the back slide. She's introduced Tanga. There are about 155,000 young people. However, there are a lot of challenges happening in Tanga, and she's going to take us through. So allow her to take us through, then I will also translate for everyone in the room. Thank you.
Miongoni mwa hayo matatizo, la kwanza ni ukosefu wa utambuzi wa masuala ya biashara na ujasiriamali. Lakini la pili ni upatikanaji wa fedha. La tatu ni ukosefu wa utambuzi wa rasilimali. Lakini linalofuata ni ukosefu wa taarifa sahihi. Lakini pia kuna ukosefu wa muunganiko wa fursa.
So, why did they start the savings and entrepreneurship in Tanga? Speaking with the young people, the OIs in Tanga, they identify that these are the challenges that they are facing. Lack of business and entrepreneurship skills. To start, you cannot save if you're not able to if you do not have the skills to actually know how to save. Where do you access finance? That continues to be a challenge. The next, they identify there is lack of ability to recognize economic resources, and she will explain further on what that means for the young people of Tanga. They do not have information. So you can see there is a pattern when it comes to information. Access to information continues to be a challenge. And also, networking opportunities. Young people in Tanga do believe that if they are able to network within themselves, they're able to get information. So these are the challenges they're facing. Over to you, Fatma.
Sisi kama GOYN Tanga, njia ambayo tumetumia kumaliza haya matatizo ni kuanzisha program ya elimu ya utambuzi wa kifikra, mindset change training, ambayo inamwezesha kijana kuweza kujitambua, lakini pia kutambua rasilimali zilizomzunguka anazoweza kutumia kiuchumi. Endelea kwanza.
Okay. So they went ahead and launched a program called Mindset Change. It's looking at two things. How do you change how you look at finances? At the same time, how do we help you identify where those finances are? So this is the great work that they are doing in Tanga.
Lakini pia katika hiyo program tunaonyesha kwamba tunamtengeneza kijana aweze kuelewa ni kwa namna gani ana uwezo wa kuweka akiba ndogo ambayo anaipata, na kwa hilo tumeweza kufanikiwa kwa kiasi kikubwa. Ukiangalia pale kuna glasi mbili inayoonyesha half full and a half empty. Huu ni mfano ambao unamwezesha kijana kuelewa ni nini anacho, sio kuangalia nini hana. Akiweza kujua nini anacho, ataweza kuanzia hapo na akakua.
Great. They're using the analogy half empty, half full. When you talk to the young people, do they look at what they have in terms of resources as half full or half empty? As you talk them through mindset change, then they get to see that perhaps they're half full. They just need the other full and they're complete.
Na katika programu hiyo kama unavyoona tumeweza kufikia vijana 444 kupitia programu ya Mindset, lakini tukishirikiana na vijana wa YAG, the Youth Advisory Group, ambao tuliwajengea uwezo wakawa kama facilitator kwa hao vijana 444 wakata 12 za jiji la Tanga, na tumeweza kuunda vikundi vya saving, vikundi 22, na wameweza kusevu zaidi ya milioni 15 za Kitanzania.
Great. So their approach towards this initiative is they work very closely with the YAG members. I know each community does have YAG. They work with the YAG as the train of trainers. So these are the young people talking to other young people. They have been able to get 444 young people through mindset training. And with that, they've gone through 12 wards in Tanga. And with this particular group, they've been able to save about 50 to 60,000 USD, which is about 15 million Tanzania shillings, roughly. And they are intending to grow even further and reach more young people in Tanga.
Kama ambavyo nimetangulia kusema kwamba vijana wengi wa Tanga wanakumbwa na tatizo la kuto kushirikishwa moja kwa moja kwenye masuala ya fedha, sisi tunachofanya ni kuwahusisha tangu wanaanza kuunda vikundi, hatua za awali, kutengeneza mikakati itakayowaongoza kwenye vikundi, lakini pia na utaratibu ambao wao wanaweza wakauishi. Lakini pia kutoka kwenye vikundi wanapata mikopo rahisi na ina masharti nafuu tofauti na sehemu nyingine, na hiyo ni kwa kuanzia inawezesha vijana kuweza kuanzisha biashara, lakini pia kutoka kwenye dimbwi la utegemezi na kupunguza umaskini wa kaya na taifa.
Okay. So a lot of young people in Tanga are sharing the same sentiments. They're feeling left out when it comes to conversations about finances. Continuously, it's more of they're following information than easily accessing it. So in Tanga, what they are doing is they're working with the young people from the onset. If you want to save even $1, they are there with you. Doesn't matter how much you want to save, they'll work with you in terms of understanding what does it mean to save, where do you start, and even how can we enable you further. Yeah?
Lakini pia kwa sasa halmashauri ya jiji la Tanga kuna fursa ya upatikanaji wa mikopo 10% loan of youth, ambayo tumeweza kusupport vikundi 23 kuweza kutengeneza katiba pamoja na usajili, lakini vikundi 7 tumevisaidia kutengeneza maandiko ya mradi na kuomba hiyo mikopo ya halmashauri ambayo wanaweza kuitumia kuanzisha na kuboresha biashara zao. Na zaidi ya milioni 500 katika vikundi hivyo 7 zimeombwa.
Perfect. Great news. So the municipal council in Tanga has an initiative where they do give young people loans, and Tanga Yetu has been working with young people to apply for some of these opportunities. So they've helped them put together their business proposal so that they're able to easily access the loan. It's only 10%.
Oh, youth, they have 4%.
Youth have 4%. Everyone else?
Women and people with disability, they have 2%. Women, they have 4%.
4%. So they're working directly with the young person. If you're interested in taking up this opportunity, the community does help you throughout. And they have been able to support 13, and 7 have actually submitted their business proposal. And cumulatively, they have applied for about 50 to 60,000 USD. Yes.
Thank you. Na tuna malengo ambayo tuliangazia mwanzo kuhakikisha hivi vikundi vinakuwa. Kwanza ni kuendelea na hayo mafunzo kwa kata 15 zilizobaki kwa ajili ya kuwafanya vijana sasa wajitambue, lakini wawe na uwezo wa utambuzi na kuzitumia rasilimali za kiuchumi kuweza kujikwamua. Lakini pia kuendelea na elimu ya masuala ya fedha, lakini pia kuwaunganisha vijana na wadau wanaoendana na matakwa yao. Kwa mfano Tanga City Council kama ambavyo nimesema, mikopo ya halmashauri ndio program ambayo tunaendelea nayo kuwaunganisha na hizo fursa. Lakini pia kuorganize network event kama maonyesho, workshop na exchange programs.
Thank you, Fatma. So from the 12 words that we saw before, they still have 15 words to go. They're doing a lot of mindset and savings training. This is what they aspire to, how they want to scale. How can they get more young people in Tanga? They're also doing financial literacy training paired with the savings. And they're equipping young people with relevant skills and hospitality. They're also connecting the young people, like we have seen, supporting them if there is any initiative around financial inclusion with the council, the Tanga City Council itself. Tanga Yetu is there to work with them and ensure that they're able to submit, they're able to meet the criteria, and even advise them what does this criteria mean. At the same time, they organize networking opportunities for the young people. Oh, she's done?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Fatma.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Fatma. Amazing work there. And Fatma will also be sharing more about how essentially the young people continue to save and how it's influencing some of their businesses. You get to also read that on the study we just concluded. As we wrap up with our panelists, I'd like to welcome Sarah. Sarah, Prudential has been a champion for young people for a very long time. With most of your work taking place in the US, do the challenges that we've heard from the young person in the room, the communities here, the different communities, does any of this particular challenge or solution highlighted resonate with the work that you're doing? I think you have immense reflection around this area. Please share with us. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here with you all. And as Daisy said, I mean, everything that every single one of our panelists talked about is very similar to all the challenges that young people face across the world around financial inclusion issues. And so I want to first start off about why we are invested in this and why we help support this research study that Daisy just outlined for you all. So we are a global financial services company. We were founded 149 years ago in Newark, New Jersey. And it was because our founder at the time saw a societal need out there that working class families didn't have the financial means to bury their loved ones. And so our first product was burial insurance, and it cost as little as 3 to 5 cents a week at the time. And so that was the birth of the company, and our mission has been consistent through the 149 years, which is to ensure that everyone has the opportunity to achieve financial security. And within our department, Inclusive Solutions, is to ensure that more people in more places are financially secure. And we all know there's many of you who are working in the skilling industry and helping young people gain the right skills and the credentials and to place them into employment. And that is the critical first step. Everybody needs a source of income, a cash flow, to be able to create that financial stability. But we want to move from financial stability to financial resiliency to ultimately financial prosperity. And you can't do that just by income alone. We know income alone enough is just everybody is living paycheck to paycheck. You need access to financial resources and tools and benefits to help you build that resiliency and ultimately prosperity. In the United States, we know that 60% of Americans don't even have $600 for emergency savings. That means if there's a medical emergency or if there's a car accident or there's a disaster that strikes their home, they don't have the cash to be able to be financially resilient through whatever that emergency is. And so that's why it's so important that as you all, in terms of the skilling industry, is thinking about how do you get your young people to that place of employment, how do you also make sure that they have the right education around financial literacy? I know when I got my first job in the United States, a lot of jobs, they offer you retirement plans. It's called 401k plans in the United States. I didn't know that I was supposed to sign up for a retirement account because my family never talked about finances. I didn't know what my financial situation was at home. We only talked about the bare minimum. So it's helping young people to understand that foundational of what does it mean to budget, what does it mean to save, what does it mean to think about the long term, because we want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to build intergenerational wealth. The only way that communities and families are going to transform is if you can pass down your wealth. And to be able to do that is you need to be able to save and invest for the future. And so everything that Headed High Foundation talked about in terms of their programming, that foundation of financial literacy, and it doesn't mean that your organizations necessarily need to be the experts, but how do you partner with other nonprofit organizations or for-profit corporations that can provide those financial literacy courses? Then at the same time, we know education alone is not enough. You need to combine it with the resources and tools. And so a lot of the programs that Fatma and Mahesh participated in was really thinking about how do you build your savings? How do you look at other products that could help you secure? So for businesses, how do you look at microinsurance plans so that if a disaster strikes, that you have that safety net? And so it's looking at every single component of that and being able to connect that all with all of the skilling information that you're doing. And there's a number of programs that we support, whether it's through the Global Opportunity Youth Network or through organizations that we have at home, but it's to catalyze that learning. So one of the programs that we support in the US is that we know investments in the stock market have quintupled the returns of home ownership rates, and yet many people think about home ownership as that one pathway to build wealth. And so we've seeded investment accounts with 500 young people in the United States at no risk capital. So this is them being able to invest in the stock market, build up their investor confidence and acumen to be able to invest for the long term, because we know that most people of color, and then particularly people from low-income communities, don't invest in the stock market, and that's what's created one of the reasons why there's such a huge wealth gap in the United States. So with all of you, I encourage you to learn more about the programs that they all have participated or are leading, and really thinking about what's that connection with the skilling, but also the financial resources and tools to help build that resiliency and ultimately prosperity.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sarah. Round of applause for Sarah. Thank you. We want to move from financial resilience to financial prosperity. Great. When we started, I said, please write all your questions as much as you can. We are now ready to open it up to the audience. Please do raise your hand wherever you are. I think a mic will be brought to you. Ask as many questions as possible. And please feel free to address to any of the panelists. The young people, we want to hear from you. Yes. Wait for the mic, please.
My question is for Sarah ma'am. मैम जैसे कि आपने बताया कि फाइनेंशियल स्टेबिलिटी के बारे में हमारे घर में बात होती ही नहीं है. हमारे घर में जो स्पेशली इंडिया में पेरेंट्स है वो मोस्ट ऑफ द पेरेंट्स इलिटरेट है, और हम जो स्टूडेंट्स है अक्सर वुमेंस जो है लड़कियां हैं वो आर्ट्स में घुसती है, कॉमर्स में नहीं जाती मैथ्स के डर से. तो जो स्टूडेंट्स आर्ट्स में जाता है वो ऑलरेडी मैथ्स से डर कर भागता है, प्लस उसको जो अकाउंट है, बिजनेस है, शेयर मार्केट वगैरह की चीज़ें हैं और जो इन्वेस्ट वगैरह की चीज़ें हैं जिससे सेविंग हो, उसके बारे में कोई नॉलेज नहीं होता है. तो ऐसी चीज़ें ना घर में बात होती है ना हमको एजुकेशन से पता चलती है. जो भी हमें मिलता है सोशल मीडिया पर, अगर हमने रील्स को स्क्रॉल करते हुए देख लिया तो हमको कुछ पता चलता है. ऐसे में हम क्या स्टेप्स उठाएं जिससे हमें ये पता चले कि हम सेव भी करें और अपने घर वालों को भी सिखाएं जो बड़े हैं कि इस तरह से सेव किया जा सकता है.
Thank you so much.
I'll
translate. Will translate?
Yeah, shall I? Yeah. So
Okay.
she's saying the financial literacy will not be taught at houses. The parents will not teach the children about that because they themselves are illiterate. Right? When it comes to young girls, they are further marginalized. So the financial literacy discussion will never happen with a young girl. Right? So in that scenario, how do we come out of the of the situation. So they learn about the financial literacy. Only neither it is taught in their subject, nor it is been taught in the houses. So they are following the social media to get to know further more about the financial inclusion, the financial planning and those stuff. So how do we ensure we learn and also we train our own, we also build capacities of our parents is their question.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we know that so many families in general, and especially with the young people, don't talk about these financial issues, and then the families themselves are also in the learning process. And so that's why these programs with the young people are so important, so they can catalyze these conversations that their parents may never even have learned. And so we want to take the young people's learnings and bring them back into the families to talk about these issues with their parents on how they're budgeting and how they're saving and how they're thinking about the future. And oftentimes, you know, we know that particularly with older generations, I'm not sure if it's as prevalent in India, but I know in, you know, in South America and East Asia, there are these giving circles, these informal giving circles where parents contribute once a month to a giving circle that they usually have with their friends or families, and they don't realize that that's a form of saving and that's actually a form of building credit with each other. And so how do you educate them on these different components? And so especially because parents oftentimes didn't have that financial education or access to these resources and tools, it's so important that as young people, as you are going out, there are so many different fintech solutions that are coming into fruition now. And it's helping those fintech companies and investors better understand the needs of each of your communities, especially as you guys are going into understanding how to manage your finances, how to build your wealth, what needs to be customized, what do they need to help understand. That can often take a two-generation approach, right? It's yourself and your parents, and how do you engage them in that conversation? But we know that that hasn't been a common set of discussions that have happened in each of those families, and so we are empowering you all to build that agency and to build that knowledge to bring back home.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Kumar, you look like you also want to chip in. Feel free.
या मैडम ये बता रहे हैं कि सर्टनली पेरेंट्स को तो सिखाना आपके द्वारा ही करना है, वो आपको वो कस्टमाइज करके पहले आपको जो अभी जो हमारा जो अनटैप्ड यूथ है, राइट, उनको सिखाए कस्टमाइज करके, और आपके द्वारा आपका पेरेंट्स का भी कैपेबिलिटी बढ़ाए, राइट. सो अभी इंडिया में भी कई सारे प्रोग्राम्स है ऐसे जो भी इस गैप को एड्रेस कर रहा है. सो कम्युनिटी के द्वारा इस गैप को एड्रेस कर रहे हैं. ये बहुत समय लगेगा, बहुत समय लगे, बट देर आर कपल ऑफ प्रोग्राम्स, ऐसे प्रोग्राम्स है जो यूनिसेफ चला रहा है, राइट. बहुत छोटा प्रोग्राम है, आप भी सिखा सकते हो, हिंदी में रहते हैं, आपके पेरेंट्स को भी सिखा सकते हैं, आप आपका मोबाइल फ़ोन के द्वारा भी आप सिखा सकते हैं, राइट. सो अभी समय लगता है, ओवरनाइट ये नहीं हो पाएगा, एक ही दिन में ये नहीं हो पाएगा. पहले आप सीखेंगे, थोड़ा थोड़ा आहिस्ता आहिस्ता उनके साथ डिस्कस करते वो भी सीखना चालू करेंगे और प्रायोरिटी भी देंगे. इंडिया में तो आप सही कह रहे हैं, महिलाओं को वो फाइनेंशियल डिस्कशन से अलग ही रख देते हैं. और ये हमारा भी एक्सपीरियंस रहा रायचूर और गुलबर्गा में काम करते हुए, अदर 22 स्टेट्स में हम काम करते हुए हमारा भी ऐसे ही राय रहा.
I hope we answered your question. Yes?
We have one more question from this side.
Hello, ma'am. My name is Prasad Madi, and I'm a student of the Aun Lighthouse. Sir, I'm going school, so that time is not giving. हमें किसी ने financial literacy के बारे में नहीं बताया. Even I am going in a university, I'm completed my graduation, so no one can teach there our financial literacy. So what is our institutions and our government and universities are taking the initiative regarding the money management, and how do we solve this problem is globally? Can we solve these problems globally, and how? So that is my question. Thank you.
Thank you.
So in India level, government has come up with something called NEP 2020, National Education Policy 2020, where is digital literacy and financial literacy are part of the focus. So government has already started. Some of the state governments are not promoting this. Like I belong to Karnataka. Karnataka, we have different government, where in central we have different government. We have BJP in the central, in state we have Congress. So the NEP 2020 is been designed and pushed by the central government. However, the state government is not promoting it much. But now it has taken speed, where the central government is also pushing the agencies like HDCA and other NGO partners who are also putting efforts to ensure this gap can be addressed. This has been in their studies, in our studies, in our the other community partner studies like Lighthouse or the TRI. So this has largely been observed. The efforts have been taken. It takes time. It's not that it happens very easily. So these are systemic barriers actually. When I presented my this is the first systemic barrier. There is a lack of the school system. In the school system, this particular part of financial literacy is completely excluded. So now slowly it is taking a phase, and maybe we are 5 years behind to touch larger number. This from the India perspective. I request Sarah to say a few words from the global.
Yes, thank you.
It's very similar. What I'll say at the global level is that there's an acknowledgement that there are gaps with financial inclusion for young people. But most of the investments, most of the focus has been more in the adult population, and how do we close that gap with people lacking bank accounts, savings, and investing for the future. And so I would say, just as this Global Opportunity Youth Network has built this movement around the focus for opportunity youth and skilling and employment placement, I would love this movement to also take place around financial inclusion, right? There's a recognition that there's a gap there. There's not enough resources and investment in really looking at products and tools that are specifically tailored to youth needs. And so how do we build that global movement? How do we get governments to focus on that? How do we get investors who are investing in new fintech solutions right now to say the young people is another demographic that they really need to look at to think about what are the customized solutions, what are the policies and regulations that need to be in place, what are the cost barriers, everything that Daisy mentioned at the beginning, to really think about globally how do we solve this issue.
Thank you. Thank you so much. The team down here is flagging my time is up, so I want to close the Q&A at that point, but please feel free to engage us after the session. As we wrap up, I want us to look at one thing. We've spoken about the different initiatives. We've listened to the young people. What is next? What do we do next? Some of the recommendations we've had from our panelists are also some of the recommendations we are suggesting as a community. Can we actually integrate financial education into our day-to-day, into some of the programs that we are doing? Can we extend some of our partnership? We've heard about Delta working with UNICEF. Can we as a community continue to engage more and more partners? I know in Mombasa they're working with a bank called ABSA to actually do more training for young people to understand. Second, how can we actually provide financial mentoring? We speak more about family, right? We ask questions within our family, but how can we actually mentor them, mentor young people to understand some of these components? You get to hear some of the initiative being done in Mombasa that is supporting mentorship. You should be able to also sit in and listen to young people share how they've been mentored through this process. We're also recommending that we continue to work with financial inclusion organization within each community. Like we said, there's no, I would say, recommendation that fits each and every community. It's very different. There's a very specific need in Raichur that might not be the same all the way in Tigas. So how can we provide community-specific solutions? And how can we then advocate for youth-friendly products? I know some of us are here, and some of the context of savings and credit is not very youth-friendly. Then the question is it even for me? A young person continuously asks, is this product even for me? So how can we advocate for more youth-friendly products and services for the young people? And before I wrap up, I would like us all to stand and give a round of applause for our panelists. Please do stand. There's no energy. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.